Okay, friends, we are live. It's great to see you on this Wednesday evening, 7:57 in the evening. Rusty with you here. It is CFLW. We're tracking one cluster of very intense storms over portions of the Orlando metro area, a couple of stronger storms trying to develop in other areas to our west. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. Wanted to hop on and cover that with you guys live. So as we get started, please remember that CFLW is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They cover the entire state. Get any kind of damage, wind, hail, hurricane, they'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanomelaw.com if you would like more information. Let me jump right into the severe thunderstorm. So we had a special weather statement that became a severe thunderstorm warning just a few minutes ago. I'm going to drop off that special weather statement just so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see the actual severe thunderstorm warning, and let's look into it. Now again, pretty high criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning, right, friends? 60-mile-an-hour winds and or inch-size hail, but this thunderstorm is actually capable of producing both of those things. We have 60-mile-an-hour winds and some inch-size hail possible here, and again, this is just north of the metro Orlando area as far as downtown goes. It does include the metro. Southwest Citadel, west central Orange till 8:15, a thunderstorm basically not moving right now. 60s and quarters, so hail damage to vehicles is expected. Wind damage to roof siding trees are also possible. Orlando, Altamont Springs, Winter Springs, Winter Park, and Castleberry, some of the areas that are going to be impacted by this. And again, when we look at the summary of this, you get the idea. My system has it kind of developing to the south at around 5 miles an hour, but regardless, it's not moving much. So extremely heavy rain. There's not a ton of lightning associated with this, but there's a lot of instability in the atmosphere at this point in time. So look, it's coming down. Winter Springs, Longwood, Castleberry, Wekiva Springs, Forest City, Altamont Springs, Maitland, Eatonville, Lockhart, Fairview Shores, Winter Park, Goldenrod, Baldwin Park areas. And again, general movement is just trying to develop and drift off towards the south. So, this is going to try and make a run back into the downtown Orlando area. So if you live in Pine Hills or La Vista or Delaney Park or Azalea Park, places like that, this thunderstorm could begin to impact you. Again, not an outrageous amount of lightning. I'm just actually going to make sure that I don't have this thing tampered down too much. It's not. But the storm has gone up pretty intensely as far as the opportunity for some hail. When I'm looking at the velocity, just making sure that nothing is getting squirrely here and just kind of watching this with you guys live. We've got some gusty winds out of this storm, but it doesn't look like we've got any kind of rotation. Now look, it does not mean you're not going to see some scary looking clouds out there. Call them SLCs. There are going to be a lot of low clouds trying to fill into some of these storms. Those are called scud clouds. They're generally detached from the lower bases of these thunderstorms, but they can look very ominous if you've seen them. We've had that from time to time with some of the storms across Central Florida lately. So looking at a couple of different products here, I'm going to bring on the estimated hail size. So let's see where we might have some hail. So it looks like we do have the possibility here right across the 414 and the I-4 corridor, right around the Maitland area there. We have another little hail core near Altamont Springs and one near Castleberry as well. That's what those blue colors show you. Again, let's take a look at those actual numbers for you guys. Small, probably not severe hail, Longwood, Winter Springs, Castleberry. Looks like this little area here near the Lockhart area, 434 has cranked up just a little bit, about a half-inch size hail. But again, the severe thunderstorm warning takes us all the way to an inch. So we've got some issues. Let me jump into the chat real quick. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hi, Farah, how are you? Hey, Pat, good to see you. Good evening, King Khan. How are you? Hey, Richard. Larry, how are you doing as well? So appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, anytime there's impactful weather here in Central Florida, I'm gonna do my best to come on and cover that for you guys live. And again, right now we have one severe thunderstorm warning in central sides of Central Florida and right here in the Orlando metro area. So also monitoring to see if these storms right along, like 301, 98, and then back towards I-4 in the Plant City area near Dover and Brandon and Seffner and Mango, try and crank up just a little bit as well. An opportunity, no doubt about it. And again, towards Gibsonia and the Lakeland areas. So pretty nasty right now, like the Polk Parkway down towards the I-4 corridor, then up 92. And generally these storms are barely moving at this time. I'll put this into motion. This one is just kind of sitting there. These are trying to feed a little bit to the north as well. You can see those polygons pushing up to the north, but not a lot in the way of any real forward speed. Let's take a live look to our cameras here. This is going to be from Winter Garden. There's been a few rumbles of thunder outside the western side of Orange County. There was some prolific lightning and storms that were not severe, not even a special weather statement earlier, about an hour ago in the Claremont area or just east of Claremont in Lake County. I mean, a lot of lightning, like Groveland area, places like that. So again, right now, all is quiet in Winter Garden. There's a live look outside to the Conway area in downtown Orlando. Again, you can see the southern extent of that line of severe storms, that shelf cloud just kind of rolling across, beautiful in the distance there, looking towards the East Coast. And again, just kind of trying to back build this way. So that's a camera to keep an eye on here, at least in the short term when we have the severe thunderstorm warning. And all is quiet right now down in Lake Buena Vista. So decent so far for the attractions area. Again, this is not a situation where the storms are necessarily going to get widespread for today, but we've just pulsed up a severe storm to kind of monitor. And again, if you guys live in this area, let me know in the comments section below what you guys have been seeing here, what's been happening with that storm overall. Again, just going to kind of reset the view here real fast. Again, this has just not been moving much, so very heavy rainfall is an opportunity that comes along for the ride. Anytime you get these kinds of static storms, you can produce a few inches of rain. You get ponding on roadways, you get localized flooding, urban areas, some small streams, low-lying areas. Can't rule out a little bit of flash flooding. So my system is trying to, it's just not even moving. I mean, look how far it's trying to move that in a 40-minute time frame. It's just picking up on any little cell that's developing and getting a little bit stronger, but this is not moving very much right now. If anything, it's expanding. Now, the polygon kind of points south, and I would just expect this to kind of expand a little bit as well. Because we don't have a ton of lightning, I can actually reset this. Get on over here. We can drop this down to a little bit lower flash point. So again, and also what it is that this system, it filters by intensity. And so, it's by electricity. I know it's crazy to think, like literally by joules. So if there's not a lot of intense lightning, we won't see it. But truly within this severe thunderstorm, we've actually had 275-ish lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes. All right. Just none of them have been crazy intense. So I wanted to clear that up. There's that cell over the Oakland area, Winter Garden, Ocoee. It's at least wet. Not a lot of lightning associated with that, but we'll see if this runs up into that severe thunderstorm. Again, if you guys are just tuning in on live, because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for places like Orlando, Altamont Springs, Winter Springs, Winter Park, and Castleberry until 8:15. So for the next 10 minutes, main threats are going to be winds of 60 miles an hour and some inch-sized hail. It's not an or situation. It's truly a and situation. 60s and 1-inch size hail. Taking a look at the wind gusts, Leesburg has had a nice 35-mile-an-hour gust lately. The airport there in Sanford, just about 18. We've had some 15 to 20s from time to time today, but, obviously we'll see if the executive airport here in downtown Orlando, if this thunderstorm is heading that way, picks up some fresher winds. Obviously helping to cool things down in some of these areas right now. It's 82 there at the airports, still 88 down in Kissimmee, MCO area, Leesburg 81, 86 in the New Smyrna Beach area. Just kind of give you an idea of some of the cooling that the thunderstorm is bringing. All right, let me jump back into the chat. How are we doing today? Everyone doing well? Anything for Palm Bay at this point in time, Richard? Not expecting it. Mineola's in the house. Hey, Florida investor, hope you're doing well. Yeah, there's some decent storms there in portions of Lake County a little bit earlier in the day. They moved off towards the east and really, conglomerated there in the northern sides of Orange County and southwest Seminole County. Hi, Farah. Hey, Stevie Cakes of Popka in the house. Hey, Asheru Conway checking in. Yeah, these are pretty noisy storms, no doubt about it. It's a concentrated storm, but it's not moving, and it's over a pretty populated area. So, Winter Springs, Castleberry, Altamont Springs, Forest City, Lockhart, Maitland, Winter Park. Orlando Science Center, the Advent Health Campus, just so many areas here, even down to Fairview Shores. where I was actually supposed to play a little bit of softball tonight. I knew I couldn't. I normally play on Wednesday nights, but this time of the year, man, I told the guys, I said, you can almost forget about it, man. I'm probably out the next few months, and for good reason. Knew that more than likely there were going to be some storms today that were not going to let me move over. Richard says, you see how this hurricane is starting to hug the eastern sea? I've seen this move many times. We can, first of all, if you guys want some detailed information on Tropical Storm Erin, go over to my Media Mundo channel. You can find a link in the description of this video below, or you can go to the main page here of CFLW. You can find that. That's my Caribbean and the Bahamas channel. I just did a video update a couple of hours ago and talked about that storm. Now, again, for this particular live stream, we're going to deal with the storms here on Friday 1 o'clock show, if there is a reason, and we will, let me put it that way, depending on, my point is that, where in the order do we put Erin for the Friday show, but we will definitely talk about Erin on Friday regardless. It's a little bit too much to dig into when we're tracking severe storms, currently imminently happening here in Central Florida. So I don't want to do that, but please pay attention. Check out my Media Mundo ones. It is a storm that I still don't expect to impact us here in Central Florida, but there have been some model shifts a little bit farther south and west, which could get it a little bit closer to the United States East Coast. More than likely, this is still going to bend east of us and is potentially going to impact places like Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas and Bermuda, maybe even the Leeward Islands. You can find all that on my channel, but it is still expected to become a major hurricane. So it always bears monitoring and watching. But at this point in time, even the far left or west models, the outliers, don't even have it kind of moving up towards our area. It would be like North Carolina here in the United States. I would have to monitor, but we'll see how the trends go. There is still some time. That wouldn't even happen until early next week. So again, back to the storms here in the eastern sides of Pasco County, portions of interior Hillsborough and Polk County. They're beginning to ramp up, and you can see the lightning count going up a bit here. They haven't really gotten organized like the storm in Seminole and Orange County, but they're just still producing a lot of heavy rain and lightning with that. And again, we're watching this one lone severe thunderstorm warning, but it's not moving much right now as it kind of expands and drifts off to the east at around 6 miles, for the next 6 minutes at less than 5 miles an hour. It's basically stationary. We'll go back over to the Conway cam. Again, if you look here just over the last couple of minutes, you can see that that shelf cloud is kind of diving south. It is indicative that even if the storm is not actually picking up some forward momentum right now, it is expanding to the southern tier. So it's going to get closer to the 408, it looks like here, as we head, towards about 8:30. Now, whether it holds together, whether it's still a severe thunderstorm at this point in time, we'll have to wait and see. Again, lightning and rainfall have nothing to do with whether it's a severe thunderstorm. It's simply the hail size and the wind. Beautiful shot from Winter Garden. I mean, how about that? You got the blue on the top left. You've got your several decks of clouds. Even look like a little flash of lightning there. And almost it looks like a little bit of a hazy sunshine as we head towards sunset. Again, this camera is looking to the west, so it's looking towards our sunset. And again, that's a beautiful shot there live from the western side of Orange County. Okay, back over to our weather computer. And again, as always, my friends, you guys have specific questions about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. I'm happy to answer them or table the questions, whatever is necessary. Appreciate you guys jumping into the comments. Thanks for taking a quick second and liking and subscribing. Again, I love the interaction live. So you guys participating and jumping in the chat really means the world to me. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Charles, appreciate you tuning in. Yep, Charles is a friend of the Media Mundo channel that I have. Thank you, Farah. By the way, yesterday's video had over 100,000 views. So it's a popular channel. I appreciate you guys coming into the Media Mundo channel, joining in and letting us know what's happening. Hey, Johnny. Johnny says low visibility near Longwood and I-4, but not much lighting. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing with this storm, right? There really isn't, and I've got this cranked all the way down, so we're seeing every single lightning strike. Most of the time, I have to filter out some of the lightning strikes because it literally covers up the radar, but this evening it's not the case. right? Again, this storm really pulsed up in a hurry. I was, monitoring the situation, or in the early evening hours. And this time of the year, you always just, if you're in my shoes, you have to pay attention, during these hours to see if one of these storms, gets a little rowdy. And, sure enough, this one did. Nothing stands out in a crazy manner about this particular storm. It's not going to be honest, it's not going to shock me if they do cancel the severe thunderstorm warning and they don't reissue it. Might go with a special weather statement. But I've been watching. Again, there is a little bit of hail with it, and I think that might be the reason why they cranked it on here. We've had a little bit of hail from time to time within this particular cell, but nothing that has at least reached an inch as far as I can see. But Lockhart area towards Forest City, in that part of the storm, that's where we had potentially the half-inch size hail. But again, the Weather Service office out of the Melbourne area put a severe thunderstorm warning on this one until 8:15. 60s and inch size hail. Larry says a little bit hazy in St. Pete. Yeah, there's a touch of haze in the sky, nothing outrageous. Now you can see there's additional cells trying to develop, but this is very typical for August. Right, we're getting towards sunset right now, and as the atmosphere cools a little bit, we can still fire off a thunderstorm or two. And obviously, we still have some old outflow boundaries from the storms. The most prolific activity the last couple of afternoon and evenings, especially, has been across I-75. So, these storms, if they can hold together, they might try and make a run up to where we have some old outflow boundaries. But again, we're beginning to lose the heat of the day as well. It is past 8 o'clock, sunset coming very shortly here. And then so those storms and their interaction with the outflow boundary is probably not going to be as significant as if it were still 6 o'clock and we still had a little bit of a daylight still to run in the next couple of hours here. But not anticipating that to be the particular case. Let's go out to the not the broader perspective, but just a couple of things to check out here. Let's do this. Make sure there's no local storm reports. Now remember, every so often, right, you get a severe thunderstorm warning because there was some kind of report of severe weather. I don't see that. Excessive rainfall potential is not here. You notice my map is blank. It's in the panhandle where we would have a risk for excessive rainfall. I don't believe we have any advisories in-house as well. We do have a flood advisory now. Okay, so that's the other issue. So I'm going to bring up the advisories. It'll take just a second to fully load. So what do you say we go back over to our cameras while they're doing that? And again, gorgeous shot from Lake Conway area, looking east. Again, the opportunity that storm could build back down into this area or get close. Right now, outside of where the thunderstorms are, there's hardly a breath of wind. It's really been another hot, muggy afternoon across Central Florida. Hey, what else is new? It is August. And again, just a gorgeous shot here in Winter Garden. All the thunderstorms have pushed east of this camera at this point in time, but it's looking pretty darn nice outside overall. And for the attractions, we're looking pretty good as well. No big issues with the attractions. So I want to check this flood advisory. It is going to be for Orange and Citadel counties. Okay, let's see if my system has picked it up. I don't know if it actually has. These are going to be special weather. That's from yesterday. Yeah, unfortunately, this is old information. Sorry about that. For some reason, switch a setting here real quick, guys. Well, I don't think that's going to do me any good, is it? That's just the level 2. That's the old thunderstorms from yesterday, actually. But all right, everything else is live. I'll read it off to you guys, though. Let me get back over to the radar. So we have a flood advisory. It's going to be for portions of Orange and Citadel until 9:30, so for the next hour and 15 minutes. Minor flooding in low-lying areas and poor drainage areas. Doppler radars indicated minor flooding has already occurred, 1.5 to 2.5 inches, an additional 1 to 2, so in total 2.5 to 4.5 inches of rain, and it's going to be for this area right here. So 2.5 to 4.5 inches of rain. Orlando, Sanford, Altamont Springs, Winter Park, Castleberry, Maitland, Lake Mary, Longwood, Lockhart, Goldenrod, College Park, Pine Hills, Fern Park, Fairview Shores, Forest City, and Eatonville, all within that flood advisory. Again, portions of Seminole and Orange counties until 9:30. Now, again, we've hit 8:15. The Weather Service has allowed that severe thunderstorm warning to expire, which is not shocking at all. It didn't look like it was holding together as much. At this point in time, they don't even have a special weather statement on it. So the biggest problem right now is that it's not moving. This is the loop over the last hour. You'll see the severe thunderstorm warning polygon come on, but you get the idea that over the last hour, it is just sat put. And that's going to be a problem with the flooding. Now, I do see that the intensity of the reflectivity is coming down a bit as well. That's good news. Perhaps it's trying to choke itself out right now and rain itself out and be done with it in the next hour, at least with the heavy enough rain to cause any flooding potential or concerns. But they issued that flood advisory for a reason, because there's already some minor flooding being reported, and they could have 2.5 to 4.5 inches of rain in these areas. And again, just kind of zooming in here, if we just look at one spot, right? If you take Forest City, there's just no movement with the rain and storms. Altamont Springs lightening up a little bit there. Again, the darker reds at the beginning of this loop beginning to thin out a bit. It's a good trend as far as that goes overall. Yep. So there you go. I mean, look, these storms can pulse up like this sometimes and die right back down. So let's see the situation here at 8:17. Let's check out a couple of other storms, make sure nothing else is looking too bad. It's a nasty storm over Lakeland. 41 lightning strikes, nothing outrageous, some heavier rain. It's lifting north across I-4. No flood advisories or anything associated with that one. Plant City, Dover, north of I-4 towards like Lazy Days, places like that. So, you know, just to the north of Mango, Seffner, Dover, Valrico, places like that. The Dade City storm has some lightning with it, but not severe, not expected to be as it lifts up to the north. A couple of little showers are trying to develop on the northern side of Lake County. And again, a little bit more intense activity just beginning to ramp up here across I-4. If you take a look at the trend over the last half hour with this particular cell, you can see it beginning to come up. Now, again, we've gotten 6 lightning strikes out of it here in a little bit. That's going to try and make a run right up I-4, maybe try to get towards the I-95 interchange. So if you live on the interior side there, LPGA Boulevard, places like that, you look back to the south and to the west. Scattered showers right now, Lake Helen, Orange City, Deltona, DeBerry, and then again here in the northern side of Orange County, far southwest side of Seminole County. That's the main game, but it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good indeed. Again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate you. We're live. Look, as always, I'm going to cover this weather for you here, even if it's a very short stream. You know, when I saw severe thunderstorm warning in Orange and Seminole counties, warranted jumping on and covering that with you guys. Again, 60-mile-an-hour winds and inch-size hail. That's nothing to play around with. That's damaging weather, damaging winds, large enough hail to damage cars, damage roofs. So, you know, needed those folks who were in this area to pay very close attention to it. But it does look like it's cooperating overall. Hey, Jaden, how you doing? Hope you're well. Jaden in the house from Aruba, one of the friends of the Media Mundo channel. And again, if you guys want to hop over there and check out Aaron. Now, because that storm, I did it to myself. There's one hot button that I use, which is like a main hot button for the graphics to move around, that actually fails and it crashes the system. But every so often I brain fart and I still hit the button because it's the easiest thing to do. Real quickly, again, now you're going to see that my system is painting on a bazillion lightning strikes, because I took it and I said, show me every single lightning strike that's absolutely possible. I'll turn that off for a second. Just real quick on Aaron, by the way. You know, Aaron is looking more impressive. Would expect it to continue to strengthen through the tropical storm status tomorrow, and then reaching hurricane status as we get into Friday. And then we have to watch out for the track from there, right? You know, there's not a lot of agreement in the models as to what Aaron is going to do as it potentially passes the Leeward Islands to the north when the recurve occurs. I want to be clear, at this point in time, nothing is pointing at us, okay? Potentially portions of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, potentially the coastline of North Carolina, Bermuda. it would have to take a pretty jog far west to have any direct impacts to our area outside of maybe producing some swells and some, beach conditions along our east coast. But the problem is that down the road, it's expected to become a major hurricane. Winds of at least 120 miles an hour, but most of the models even make it a little bit stronger than that. Wouldn't surprise me if ultimately you get a Category 4 hurricane out of Aaron. So wherever it's going to cause problems. And it's not going that far back east, Rusty, but you get the idea. That's the latest track guidance here with Aaron. Yes, a little bit farther south and west, but no, at this point in time, still not expecting any direct impacts here to us in Central Florida. I hit the red button. I need to just basically, like, I've set an order, and for no reason that I can discern whatsoever, one of the buttons just actually kills the system, right? It's no different than anything else. All it is a preset to move my weather system to a specific location and bring on specific things. Like, I'll show you this. If I hit this button, it's going to take us out to the southeast with your satellite data, and your temperatures. If I hit this button, it's going to take us back into Central Florida with a live radar out of Melbourne or Tampa or wherever we're looking at, right? When I go out to the broad view, like I wanted to show you, that's another button. But for some reason, that one just crashes the system. Unless I hit it like right at the beginning. But if I've been playing around with the system, it crashes it. So it is kind of wild and crazy, but that's the case. Aaron's winds did go up. The 5 o'clock advisory is up to 50. I don't believe they are in right now the mode of doing intermediate advisory, so the 50 should still be it. But it's only been kind of steady because there's a little bit of dry air, there's a little bit of a northeast shear, and sea surface temperatures that are actually that far east in the Atlantic weren't fantastic, only around 26 degrees Celsius. But now it's going to be running into no shear, no drier air, and sea surface temperatures that'll be up around 28, 29 degrees Celsius. 29 degrees Celsius is 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So nothing is going to impede it. And beginning late tomorrow, and especially beginning on Friday, I think Aaron is going to get strong in a hurry. So again, my concern is wherever it ends up going, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problematic storm. It would be a very unlikely scenario that some of the areas of the islands that I cover on Media Mundo wouldn't be directly impacted by that storm. That would be a very, very, just kind of guiding hand kind of situation around all those islands. For us, we're looking fine still. U.S. East Coast overall is still looking okay, but the models have nudged it just a little bit closer, especially to the Carolina coastline early next week. It's a possibility, but others recur it a lot quicker than that. So again, just recapping what's been happening over the last 2 hours. We had a few really hefty thunderstorms in Lake County and the western sides of Orange County. They weren't severe, but then they kind of congregated off to the east. Nice little storm over Sanford, and then once all of that activity merged together, you got a special weather statement, and then very quickly you got a severe thunderstorm warning. Now that has died back down. You can clearly see that the overall intensity of that cell since 8:15, so it's kind of a perfect timing of that severe thunderstorm warning, has died out, and the thunderstorms off to the south and west of Orlando aren't looking nearly as healthy as well. So I think overall, guys, we're looking pretty darn good here real quick in a short term. This storm is fading away pretty fast right now. If anyone lives underneath this, especially like Wekiva Springs and Forest City and kind of the west side of Maitland and Lockhart, and maybe even Altamont Springs, I don't know if Fiona's in the channel today, let me know if you have had any flooding. Hey, Therese, how are you? Hey, Kevin. Boy, I hope it does too, Asheru, but again, for it to guide itself around all of those islands is an extremely low probability. More than likely, someone is going to get thumped pretty good by Aaron. So that's what I have to watch out for on the old Media Mundo channel. Yeah, Kevin, you had a pretty good storm around you a little bit earlier. It's beginning to die back down, though. So we're looking pretty good here, guys. Hey, listen, very clear about things. I don't waste your time, right? I'm going to jump on when these storms are active. We're going to cover it for as long as we need to, but as things quiet down, we'll do so, and we won't be on forever. Now, we got to take a look at a couple of these cameras. Live look outside to Winter Garden. It's a neat shot, right? Look at some of those thicker clouds moving through. Still could see some redevelopment of some rain and storms. You can actually see, if you look at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, look at that backlit shower there on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Really cool shot. Again, sunset right now here in Florida, and it's a gorgeous one from Winter Garden with the dark, thick clouds in the foreground and the beautiful sunset in the background with a little bit of rain there, kind of far away on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Conway cam, again, starting to see that dark, but those clouds have even thinned out a little bit. These are not rain-bearing clouds. You notice how broken they are? Nothing is very clumped together. Nothing is developing vertically. The bases don't look ominous, so this is not any kind of rain-bearing clouds. And we've already hit the switch over to night vision side for the attractions area, but it's actually easier to see once we get that night vision, some of the cloud structure here by the Magic Kingdom and Epcot and Universal, places like that. Again, looking just fine, southwest sides of Orange County for the attractions and the fireworks displays as well. Sharon, how you doing? Appreciate you. All right, so Sharon's still saying raining pretty heavy in Forest City. So there you go. I mean, look, there are some areas where, again, we're going to continue to get some heavier rain and storms. Probably never going to pulse back up to be severe or even a special weather statement. So the biggest question now is how quickly this rains out, and does it produce any additional flood issues? Again, there is a flood advisory in these areas until 9:30. About 2.5 to 4.5 inches of rain could fall in some of these spots. That's more localized than anything, but still ponding on roadways, flooding of low-lying areas, places like that, urban and small stream flooding, it's not out of the question. And we could see some additional showers up by 4, and again, a couple back down south and west. But friends, I think we're looking pretty good here. So, I told you, I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to wrap up this live stream. This is the situation. You know I'm going to cover it, guys, and we'll get on when we need to, for as long as we need to, and when we're done, we'll get off. So, a couple of things. First of all, please remember the CFLW is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. Look, wind, hail, hurricane damage, right? They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process, offering free consultation and policy reviews. So review your plan. If there's any kind of damage to your property, you want an advocate on your side, it's leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Again, Aaron expected to become a hurricane. At this point in time, not expected to directly impact Florida. If there are storms to cover for tomorrow, I'll jump on and I will. If not, I'll see you guys live Friday at 1 p.m. for CFLW The Show, where obviously we will cover what is happening with Aaron right now, all the newest information from the models, if there's any reason to us to have any concerns whatsoever here in Central Florida with what should become a major hurricane by the end of the weekend. I'll have a lot more on that, and of course, local forecasts for the weekend ahead as well. As we leave, thanks for taking a quick second and liking this live stream and subscribing to the channel if you guys haven't as of yet. Thank you so much to all my friends in the chat for jumping on and saying hi and keeping us updated with these storms. Will Edgewater getting these storms? No, Lori, I don't expect it. Now, you could still slip a little bit of rain towards your area, but it's already beginning to kind of rain itself out here. Now, some storms could still pulse up, but nothing that's going to be extremely prominent here. Now, you might see some lightning in the distance if you live along the Volusia County coastline, but nothing that I'm thinking is going to be organized or anything of great detail. Okay, friends, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening. I'll monitor the situation. And again, whenever there's impactful weather here in Central Florida, I'll be back on live to cover it. If not, until then, I'll see you Friday at 1 o'clock. Take care, friends.